So, here we are again with a video, surprisingly enough. If I'm being honest, it feels like I'm encountering a difficult problem. That problem is, well, to put it frankly, I'm getting ahead of myself. Any feature that I think of and implement, I try to do it really quickly, which could cause me to overlook pieces of my code. And it is frustrating. I see that. I understand that. And if I don't do something about it soon, then it's going to end up making the game turn out a little rough around the edges, to say the least. Trying to make content while making a game is something that requires progress in a very short time span, especially when I'm trying to record one video a week, which means I have to make a feature that is good within that 1 week and presentable. But let's be honest, for the last few weeks, it hasn't really been that. And it has been a good thing to watch because there's not much to say about it since I just sort of implemented spaghetti code. The whole purpose of this channel was to document my journey to becoming a novice, mediocre game developer and slowly transitioning to become a professional game developer. And however, it's been a lot harder than I would have anticipated considering that YouTube awards people who are consistent. And as much as I want to be consistent, it requires way too much time that I really don't have, unfortunately, especially throughout the week to construct some feature very quickly so that it's presentable even though it isn't most of the time. As I said before, I'm trying to, do some fun stuff like have the Elden Ring series that I have going on, mostly as a way of me researching the type of game I'm trying to make, but also, just having fun and, maybe attracting a few new subscribers to the sort of game that I'm making. However, if they do subscribe, they'll be here mostly for the funny game content, the funny Elden Ring content. They wouldn't be here necessarily for my game and my process and my journey. What can I do about that realistically? I'm still trying to find the answer is the point I'm trying to get across. I'm still trying to figure out ways that I can A, release content consistently, and B, make that content presentable and acceptable for my channel. A video I can be proud of, a video that I'd want to share. And unluckily enough for me, I chose the worst time to start YouTube, where every game developer has to make hyper easily digestible content. In all these edits, there's no denying these videos are well made, but the art of game development seems lost within them in a certain way. It's all a big mystery for me. This content is so widely pushed by YouTube nowadays to the point where even if you do try and appeal to that sort of audience, you have to get extremely lucky in order for it to work. It's a lose-lose situation that only a few people within this environment can break the mold and unlock the code and find their way onto the top. And there are many different game creators that have sort of like have this format that I love, this format that I want to try. However, with consistency being an issue, it could lead to those channels not doing as well when they switch it up. And it's horrible to see YouTube going down this very hyper commercialized route. It's all a big mystery, and I'm hoping I figure it out along the way. If I can't release a video on time, please understand that it's either because I feel like a feature isn't worth showing off and progress isn't worth showing off, or it's because I just didn't have enough time to even get started. But time goes on and I have to show off at least what I'm planning to do within this game. I've been working on several foundational features, but to be honest, there's like a solid 12 foundational features that haven't been expanded on, even though they should, because they don't really match my vision, and I need to have them match my vision in order to have this game be exactly what I want it to be and high quality. Otherwise, it's going to feel half baked. Mostly, this has to do with the combat. The whole lock-on feature is more like a matrix simulator. The crouch feature is very choppy and still glitches out whenever you stand up under a geometry. This backstep doesn't allow the player to lunge in every direction like I had hoped, depending on which direction you are moving, basically. And for the love of God, I need better controls. These are all problems that I plan to tackle in the next coming weeks. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you guys something by the end of next week. But for now, the features I've added starts off with a sort of pickup thing where if you come in contact with a weapon, it'll get picked up and allow the player to attack. This also requires checking to see if the weapon didn't exist, and you can already see some problems with it. The placement of the weapon on the little arm bone attachment node really just depends on how you enter the collision, which looks horrible. I mean, it's seamless, but it looks horrible. Most of my time consisted of coming up with different animations for the players, such as flinching, which is really the core of many Souls-like games. Flinching is what makes the games extremely annoying, which I'm looking for. I said in my first ever video on this game that I wanted to make a game that was annoying and cause people to rage, but also still be fun in the end. I made some basic animations, but I also decided to sort of plan out and have the functions, the flinch functions, actually take in the direction that they're being hit. So if a player's getting hit with a direction that's to the right, the player will flinch to the right. And if the player's getting hit with a direction that's up, the player will flinch up, like he'll tilt their head back and stumble backwards. Stuff like that. However, that's for future me. For right now, I just want to get some basic flinch functionality done. A foundation. And yes, you heard that right. I did figure out after like 2 days of researching, in order to implement like animations, like updated animations into your node for the player and your animation player for the player, you need to, well, you probably don't need to do this, but it was my method of doing it. It was my solution. Imported the new player model, grabbed those animations, copied them, and then pasted them into the old, already implemented player model with all the animations that work. Kill me. But that's the idea. For each direction of attack, the player will flinch a certain way, and of course, hard flinching will be a thing, but I need to import those animations first and delay the player from attacking. And through this, I found another bug. If the enemy attacks, the game will think you've gotten a weapon because the enemy has the same exact dagger node attached to it. So if a player comes in contact with that same dagger node, it'll think, oh, I've picked up a weapon, but they haven't. So it leads to a whole bunch of errors. And with the flinch function and the animation was very fast at first, to the point where you couldn't even tell a player was getting flinched. It just looked like nothing. So I had to slow the animation player down to like 0.75, which was probably a blessing in disguise because it makes everything look a bit more like cleaner instead of just very, boom, 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 super fast and then super slow all of a sudden. Sadly, this will be all I have for you. I know it's not much, but this might be surprising. I've been busy. I was afraid I'd miss another week without having an excuse as my birthday this time. But next video will definitely be a cleanup session because I am very embarrassed at my game right now, and I don't want to have to feel that way. So I'm going to iron out various different features and make sure that they match my vision more. And if that leads to like 1 or 2 weeks being missed out, put on the notifications and subscribe so that you know when that's coming. That's all I have to say, though. Thank you.